a lot of background about the film business, worked with producers, directors, distributors, a lot of people who are in this room, and spent a lot of time with a lot of you. Got to see how the industry works kind of behind the scenes, and then I went back to the US. And just decided to kind of write a book. I had a lot of stories that I told my friends in America about working in the industry. Some were funny, some were outrageous, some were chaotic, and I think a lot of people thought that it would make an interesting novel, and I've always loved writing, so I thought I'd give it a shot. This was in 2005. Had I known it would be 2011 when I started releasing it, I may have thought about it twice, but it was really fun and an interesting thing to do.
But did you know when you were doing all your research that it was for this book, or were you just really curious about the industry?
No, I was just curious about the industry, and it was part of my job, honestly. So, I would spend my days kind of traveling from one end of town to another, meeting with Aditya or Nirja or Rajesh, and it was just the research part was for my job, and then some of my friends encouraged me to write some of these stories down because they were so interesting to other people, and so that's what I did.
And what's something that you learned about the Bollywood industry on the way that you were really surprised to find out?
That's an interesting question.
It's in the book.
Yeah, you'll have to read the book for that. I think one of the big things for me was that I met a lot of people who are really passionate about what they do, kind of really entrenched in the industry and really, dedicated to the movies that they make. And I think that was what was probably the most inspiring thing for me.
And so, Starstruck, why is it called Starstruck? Can you give us like a little gist of the story?
So to me, the title kind of means more that the character is starstruck by Bollywood. It's not necessarily that she's starstruck by any one person. She does end up befriending a really big Bollywood movie star, but she's more kind of sucked in by Bollywood itself.
And so are any of the characters, like is Sapna Shah based on a real Bollywood celebrity or inspired by any one of them?
No, so Sapna is actually the main protagonist. So she shares some similarity to me, but not a lot. But the characters in the book are all fiction. They are not drawn from anyone I met, no one in this room. So yeah, exactly.
And I was thinking about this, and I was looking at this, and it already has so much sort of like star appeal, very Bollywood blitz. So if Mr. Subhash Ghai were to make this into a movie, who should play Sapna?
I've been asked that a lot. I'm having trouble kind of deciding between either Priyanka Chopra or Deepika, both of whom I love.
Or you.
That's not gonna happen.
And so what are some of the questions that were raised coming out of the book that you felt that it brought to your mind on Bollywood, and of course a lot of difference, I'm sure, from Hollywood, right?
Yes, there are a lot of differences, but there are a lot of similarities between the two businesses too, and I think those are some of the things that the book touches on a little bit. Again, to me, the main thing was you see these movies and it's this kind of glossy, finished picture, and I think it's interesting to see all of the things that go into creating that. And so I hope those are some of the things that the book brings out.
And what's your favorite part of the book? Is there a particular part? And I'm sure you'll be reading a passage for us soon.
The part I love is actually, I think, a surprise, but she basically is interacting with a Bollywood actress on set, and so it's kind of, a little bit of the neuroses of kind of...
Because she has always been good. I expect good from her. And only thing which I have objection, can I? It has been about habit. Can you tell me what I'm objecting? Any of you?
To call it Bollywood?
Yes, you said it. I didn't say that. You said it. It is like this because whenever I go in anywhere in the world, so I always keep telling one thing, why you're a Bollywood film. इतना अच्छा लिखा है तुमने, इतनी अच्छी बातें लिखी हैं उसके अंदर. It's a wonderful book. It's a very inside coming out and great observation about her, about the people in Bollywood. And particular section, people who are going through a lot of dilemma, whether it is true or not, whether movie industry is hard or, you see, it's beyond the glitter and glamour. You see, it's really, it's a different world altogether. It's very different reality. Such a beautiful book, but why vulnerable?
I actually do address that in the book, but I agree with you.
No, good, because Bollywood is a saleable name. So you must sell first. then later on. But see to the next book you write is about the Bombay cinema or Mumbai cinema. Right?
And I was actually asking Rajal this, and I think that he would be the best person to answer this question. If you were to make this book into a movie, who would you cast as the lead, Sapna Shah, who's coming and discovering Bollywood, being in cinema?
You see, there are only 2-3 heroines you see on Bombay Times. So pick up anyone. Who comes more in Bombay Times, you should pick her up. Because there's a Katrina, Marina, right? So you should pick up.
And do you have any advice for her on what her next book should be about?
Sorry?
Do you have any advice for Rajal on what her next book story should be about?
Yes. Her book should be, if you should really ask me this question, what is fan? F-A-N. Fan, what is fan? Write about an ardent fan of the movies or the glamour and glitter. A fan means the uncritical admirer. I went to IFA this last month, and I was so astonished to see 25,000 fans. And any actor, even big or small, it will cross through, and you could see their faces, red faces, tears.
And one jumped on stage to get Shah Rukh's likeness and make me a star too.
Anything. So I really wonder, what do they think and how do they go through? What is their insight? How do they imagine an actor? See, I was with my friend, I was talking that she was telling me that a lot of people stand in front of Amitabh Bachchan house in spite of knowing that Amitabh Bachchan is in America. What is the psyche behind it? So I said, it is psyche behind it. They have seen Amitabh Bachchan all over their life in the movies, having good long laws, posh life, great offices, moving here and there. And they feel here he lives. So he must be moving from his bedroom to his library to his bookroom. So they go on imagining for 10 minutes. Amitabh Bachchan moving from the long shot. Because they have seen him moving in various bungalows in the movies. So they imagine that figure is moving and they enjoy it. And these are all tourists coming from...
Magic touch.
You see, about India, I always say that even the cleverest crooked person is emotional. We think emotionally. Even we are crooked, even we are intelligent, even we are intellectual, but somewhere we have a heart. Indian people think through heart. My friend Nishit Desai is here. You see, he takes, as a lawyer, international lawyer, attorney, he decides so many big cases from America and all that. I thought always he's American. And finally I went to his house and I found he is worse than Indian. He's so emotional. You see? I said, how could you practice a law? I went to Mr. Sam Pitroda's house in Chicago and I had a lunch with him and I had a lovely lunch. Like my mom is serving to me. I said, is it Chicago or is it India somewhere? So it was a beautiful feeling. That is what the Indian are all about. They relate everything emotionally. That is why they probably their book called Emotional Intelligence Work. It's bestseller.
And so what is a film scene, I'm sure from one of your own films, that made you cry, that still chokes you up?
Talk about her.
We will.
बाद में आप पूछेंगे आप M से पिक्चर क्यों बनाते हैं?
I will ask Rajal also, what's a movie scene that's made you really emotional?
What's the question?
What is a movie scene from one of your films that made you want to cry, that really got you choked up?
My movie? My movie, I always still cry in in Ram Lakhan, when mother cries, the two sons splitting from each other.